Where do you go to both gather with other people and to grow as a person? See, as part of the gathering, we have a basic belief. And the basic belief is that it takes three things for you to really be your best person. And those three things make up kind of who you are. The three things that make up you are the community that you keep. You are the sum of the people around you. You are also the thoughts that you meditate on every day. And the third thing that makes you who you are the things you practice. What are the things you do every day? The habits, the patterns that you live every day. Because that pretty much makes up your truth, your reality. You can think you're one thing, but really what you do, what you practice, who you are, how you live every day makes up who you are. Now, in our modern world, we have a lot of information about what you should think about. We have a lot of information about what you should practice. But what we don't have in this modern world, in fact, we're losing it more and more as generations go on, is support. Support on how to create those good and positive things in your life. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to create a place where you can both gather with others, get the support that you need, and learn what to think about and what to practice so you can be the person you want to be. If that interests you, check it out. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and welcome. Welcome to the gathering of good people. Hey, have I ever shared with you my push-up story? Well, being that this is the inaugural kind of podcast for the gathering of good people, I'm going to assume no. So let me start you off with just a quick little story. I run a men's group, and the other day we were talking about our dailies. We were talking about the things that we do every day that help us become who we are. As we talked about in the very intro here, there's three things we need in our lives. We need community, we need good thoughts, and we need good practices or good habits, because those three things shape us into who we are. So we're talking about our habits, and somebody in the group shared, I think it was an urban myth, an urban legend, but it was an interesting story all the same. They shared a story about a guy who really wanted to start exercising, wanted to bring more physical activity in his life. And so he came up with a goal, and the goal was very simple. The goal was to do one push-up a day for 1 week. Every day he'd do a push-up, and then the following week he'd do 2. And then the following week he'd do 3. And as the legend goes, as the myth plays out, sometime into the future, he's doing hundreds of push-ups every single day. Well, true or not, I thought the story had moral to it. I thought the story had some validity to the idea itself, the concept of, hey, what if I created a micro habit? A small habit that's so tiny, that's so easy that I could do it and be guaranteed everyday success. So I thought, oh, this is awesome. We should do this. So I took it on myself that week. I'm going to do a push-up every single day. Now, throughout the week, I thought I did pretty well. I did about 5 out of 7 days. And then I get back to the group and I'm like, hey, dudes, here's how I did. I did it 5 different times. And in fact, I did it multiple times those 5 different days. Now, there was 2 days I didn't do it at all, but I thought I was doing pretty good because I was doing it 3-4 times a day and doing multiple push-ups, like 10, 15, 20 push-ups in each set. So I'm feeling really successful. And as I check out the group and kind of share my progress, it comes out that nobody else in group did it. Nobody. And I'm like, dudes, you guys are the ones that talked about this. You guys are the ones that thought this would be a great idea. What do you mean? I'm the only one that did it? What's wrong with you guys? So I'm like, whatever. I'm going to keep doing it because I thought it had value. So the next week, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to go solo. I'm just going to do this on my own. The heck with the rest of you guys. Next week, I do one. I do 1 day of push-ups. Now, there were a lot of days that I had intentions. A lot of days I thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do that. But I'm like driving in my car or I'm like in the bathroom or something. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to do that. As soon as I leave the bathroom, as soon as I get out of my car, as soon as I get back to my office, I am going to do a push-up or multiple push-ups. But by the time I get to my office, the idea is gone and I don't do it. So I get back to the group and I report the next week. Man, I only did it once. What is wrong with me? Now, again, nobody else is doing it. So I find myself kind of floating on my own, which is the way most of us make changes, sadly enough, is that they're changes that we're making on our own. But I'm determined. I am mad. I am frustrated. I am determined. I am set. I am going to do this push-up thing. So the following week now, the third week now, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to happen. I only did it once last week, but this week I'm going for it. So what did I do? Well, I only did it 3 days. 3 days that week. And I'm like, oh man, I was so confident. I was so determined. I wanted that so bad. But I only did it 3 days. So I get back to the group and I go, okay, group, I've been trying this. I've been trying this on my own and to no avail. I have not been very successful. I need your help, guys. I need your help. I need you guys to hold me accountable and check in with me throughout the week and with each of our meetings. Hold me accountable. Help me know that there's somebody else out there that cares if I do this or don't do this. Well, they're more than willing, and we have a text that goes out multiple times a day, every day. So throughout the texting, we're checking with each other, and several of the people in the group are like, hey, Brett, did you do your push-ups? And as soon as I read that text, I'm like, yeah, I got to do my push-up. Jump down the ground, do my push-ups. I nailed it. That next week, I did every single day, at least one. Most of the time, multiple push-ups throughout the day. The week following that, again, super successful. Every single day, I'm doing push-ups. The difference, accountability. The difference was that I finally got people behind me, supporting me, encouraging me, helping me to really stick to what I wanted to do. And I think that's really an essential element for us to make any kind of changes, even these little tiny micro habits that we're talking about. Now, that story of push-ups is an interesting, kind of fun story, but it also applies to you. You have a million micro habits that you would like to integrate in your life, but you don't. I really should drink more water. I should drink at least another glass of water every single day. It's a great idea. It's a great intention, but you don't do it. I should exercise. I should do yoga. I should probably practice meditations. Hey, I probably should do something about my taxes or make sure I'm paying my bills every day. There's 100 things that we know we should do that we don't do. And it's not that we lack information or we don't know, because obviously we know what we're supposed to be doing, but we can't do it. And I think one of the key reasons why we can't do what we want to do is we lack support. And in this world we live in, community, support, connection to other people is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And because of that, I think we're really suffering in terms of our own growth and progress. So let me kind of break it down and then suggest what I think could help us all to be more successful in being the people we want to be, to live the lives we want to live. Now, from my point of view, from my mindset, I see that there are 7 developmental needs that we all have to go through and grow through for us to reach a state of happiness in our lives. The first 3 of those needs are psychological. They're kind of our base needs. The next 2 are relational. And then the last 2 are spiritual. In our lives, we have gatherings, we have groups of people, but those gatherings that we have don't help us in all 3 of those areas of our lives. They maybe help us in one area, but not in another area. So, for example, think about groups or gatherings of people in 3 different categories. There's like 3 different kinds of groups. The first group that you can think of are social groups. Your friends, your neighbors, your family, the people you hang out with. And our social groups are great, particularly to help us with our kind of basic core psychological needs, particularly feeling loved, feeling a part of something. But social groups really don't help us grow. They don't really stretch us very much. Rarely in my social group do I talk to my friends about, hey, this is what I'm learning. I was reading this the other day in my devotional time or my meditation time, and this is what I'm picking up. When I start talking psychology or spirituality or anything, people just kind of like get uncomfortable, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this information. So most time, our social groups are light. We don't want to talk about betrayal or shame or even our addictions or our weaknesses in front of our peers. So we kind of hold that stuff back, and we keep our social groups light. Facebook, Instagram, all of those kind of social medias are focused on the bright, focused on what's good, focused on the positive, and we don't share a lot of our own negativity on those kind of sites, nor do we share them in our social groups. It's kind of weird. Then the other kind of groups that we have in our lives is what I call growth groups. And growth groups are where we really do go to grow. And in our growth groups, you can think of them in 2 different ways. One kind of growth group that we have are really skill-based groups, like a writer's group, or a cooking club, or maybe it really is more psychologically oriented, like AA. AA is a growth group, Alcoholics Anonymous. It helps us kind of grow who we are as a person. Now, the trouble with those kind of growth groups is that, one, the skill we're working on is usually, again, kind of a technical skill, like I want to be a better writer, or I want to cook better, or something like that. And then the growth groups that are really psychologically oriented, unfortunately, many of them have a really strong specialization, like AA. So if I'm not an alcoholic, it's really hard for me to go to AA and go, hey, I want to be a part of your group. I don't have an addiction, but I want to be here. I want to learn. I want to grow. And you guys are all about growing. So can I join? It's kind of awkward and weird because I don't really fit the mold. So where do I go? Where do I go if I'm just a normal guy, a normal person who wants to better themselves, who wants to improve their lives, and talk with other people who want to also better themselves? Well, that usually leads us to the third kind of group. The third kind of group are value groups or belief groups. And that's where we have like Republican parties, Democratic parties, or even spiritual groups like church. Now, what's interesting about those kind of groups is that they can be really positive, and the belief system is, here's what you need to do to be your best person. But the groups are really focused on the values and the beliefs of the group. And the idea is if you work with the values and the beliefs of the group, it's going to help you be a better person. And particularly those values and beliefs center around spirituality. So, as you and I know, church is great for helping connect me to God or to Spirit. But what about, remember those three different parts of my developmental growth? There's the 3 core emotional, psychological needs. There's the 2 relational needs. And then there's the other 2 spiritual needs. Well, the value groups, the church and those kind of organizations help me with my spirituality. But rarely from the pulpit, rarely, from the leaders do we actually break down, start talking basic psychology. Emotions, feelings, how to deal with our shame, how to deal with addiction. Those things are definitely encouraged to be worked on, but in a corporate group setting, we just can't. Churches just aren't designed to talk psychology. They talk mainly spirituality. And there's a lot of truth to that. I think spirituality is our highest needs, for sure. But I also think that if I don't take care of my base or my foundation, it really is hard for me to reach that higher place because I have all this other baggage that keeps getting in my way. So, where do I go? Where do I go to get all the different parts of me to be able to support all the different parts of me as I want to grow? Well, my hope is that's what we're going to create here in the gathering of good people. What I want to make this into is a place that you and me can come and we can talk and we can be honest and we can be open and we can share anything and everything and help each of us grow wherever we are. There's no real values in the sense of we're going to tell you what to think or what to believe or who you are. It's more of a process of helping you strengthen what you believe, to see who you are, to helping you to grow in whatever your needs are. My hope is that the gathering is going to be the kind of group that we all need to help us be better in anything that we are. So, if you already have a belief and a value system, if you're already a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, if you're an atheist, my hope is the gathering can help you be better. A better Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, atheist, whatever you are. I want the growth group to help you grow where you are and who you are, but not to define or tell you who you should be, how you should live, or how you should think, because that's not, I feel like, our group's responsibility or even need. What we want to provide here with the gathering is the support. The support because I think we can do it better together. Like that silly example of doing push-ups, having accountability, having other people to talk to, having others to share our success and our failures is essential in being able to grow. The internet has all the information in the world in terms of what we need to understand about how to better improve ourselves, the research, the positive psychology. There's tons of information on spirituality all throughout our culture and throughout our world. What we need is a place that will help us grow, to help us support each other. And that's what we want to do with a gathering. So if you're looking for a place that is going to help you create community, help you focus on good thoughts, and create some good habits for yourself, then this is the place I want you to come. If you want to join our community, be a part of our community, I encourage you to go to a gatheringofgoodpeople.com and join in. Thanks so much for checking this out, and I hope to hear more from you. Again, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.